Round two, CRO Wisdom Pod with Johnny Page. Really glad to have Johnny on and really honored to have these discussion with John. We had a pre-podcast discussion about Meta. I interviewed their product person today, who is quite an amazing guy, Mr. Rojas, Peter Rojas. And we were talking about entrepreneurs because that's what we're going to talk about today. But I mean, in a corporation with a bunch of superstars, 2 billion users, 3 being a former CEO and founder, and now operating in a corporation in which you can say things, you cannot say other things, having Zuck as your leader. How fascinating is that for conversation? And I'm really glad to have John today to deepen our past convo about entrepreneurship, because this was a topic 5-10 years ago. I started as an entrepreneur with my first mentor, build an agency with him, and then branched out by my own. And it's still the topic today. And it's still relevant, right? It's not like if we're talking about employees, because I'm not bullish on the employee model, but I am bullish into partnering with some top folks in my business, give them shares, give them profit shares, and so forth. So that's a quick intro. This pod is brought to you by podfire.com, which is my podcasting company. If you want to start, scale, or be invited to podcasts, get great guests like Johnny here, have nice convos with them, get insights, get subscribers, get leads, get clients. It's also a lead gen funnel. It's super fun. John, I'm really glad to have you on. Can you tell us again about your role at SaaS Academy with Dan Martel, one of my favorite entrepreneurs, and what you do there?
Yeah, so SaaS Academy is a coaching program for B2B software founders. I'm the CRO, so I focus on our sales, marketing, and then delivery side. So I run our flagship program, SaaS Academy. We've got about 300 founders in our program, along with many of their team members, and we focus on companies from about 120K in annual recurring revenue all the way up to 5 million in annual recurring revenue is where SaaS Academy fits in the market. And then we've got programs for startups and programs for companies with a little more revenue. But yeah, my role is to make sure the mission we wake up every day to serve is founders should double the size of their business every year. And so it's a lot of fun.
So you help get these founders on board and then you accompany them through their growth. Is that the role?
Yeah. So my role, I run the acquisition side of our business, and then I also run the delivery side. So our offer super strong. We do a 30-day money back guarantee. Like if we were just focused on revenue growth, we'd sell courses, but the goal is that our founders actually grow. So it's a nice tension, right? I've got the revenue side where we have revenue targets and growth targets we want to hit, but I also run the retention side. So, I kind of shift my focus throughout the quarter and the year to, where's the leak in the bucket? Is it on retention? Is it on acquisition? Of course, so we start bottom of the funnel and work our way up. If we're not retaining our clients and helping them win, like that's what gets all my time and energy. And then when we find a good mix and a good stride there, we focus on building up the funnel.
You're like every CEO's dream. I maintain my point of last time. It's kind of hard to, that's what we're going to discuss today. But so far, it's been my experience that it's been quite hard to get someone that would onboard new clients and would help them with the product. Fortunately, it's like similar stuff, right? But I've tried it. I have my lead gen agency and I've tried to have people close their clients and take care of them. It never really worked. I typically separate the two positions. So one that onboards, that closes, quote unquote, the client, and the other one that takes care of actually fulfilling the service. Do you think that's a better model, or can I scale the Johnny equation and get a Johnny to take care of both sides of the coin?
I mean, I think it's a matter of exploring what do you work well with? Like, what's the model you prefer? If you want to work with a few people that are super talented, and I think you can go heavy concentration, have one person that you have a strong relationship with that manages the full stack from start to finish, and you need the model that supports that, right? So like the thing that got me interested both times, both at Silvertrack, where I started this entrepreneurial journey, and then at SaaS Academy, both of them, I have upside I have a share in the upside that I create, right? So at Silvertrack, I got 35% of the revenue that I sold and retained. Like there's enough skin in the game there for me to see a whole lot of opportunity and incentive to build that retention and acquisition part of the funnel. But if you want to keep 100% of the equity, 100% of the revenue, and then take on the management and leadership, requirement to do that, you can. I think it's just a matter of like, what's your preference?
Right. On your side, you work with a bunch of founders. What problems do you see that they have? And also, you don't work with 100 founders, do you? You work with a batch of them, right?
We have 300 founders enrolled in our program right now. So our program we have executive coaches that meet one-on-one with our clients, and then we have several group formats. So like we will do a sales call on a recurring cadence. So if you have questions about sales or that's your project or your focus right now, there's a sales consultant and coach that's doing a group format. So the cool thing is there's opportunities to learn in public from others. You just learn a ton from other companies that are trying to solve the same problem. So we have sales, marketing, customer success, operations, product calls happening in a group setting. So you learn from each other and from the coach. And then we go in a one-on-one setting to individualize the plans and make sure that there's focus, because the plus side of the group format is you see a lot of different ways of solving a problem. The downside is founders are, very easily distracted. You can feel like you want to build all of it, and you need that one-on-one coach to help narrow the focus, keep you, focused on the project of the quarter. So, I don't personally work with all 300. I work with a handful, and then of course support our coaches to make sure that our clients have got what they need.
So how much can you manage by yourself? 25, 50?
It depends on the coach, and depends on the how much we lean on our playbooks, right? So our coaches don't do in a one-on-one setting what could be done in a group setting or through a playbook. So we've got 400 or so frameworks for everything of like hiring an SDR team, building a partner program, mapping out your free trial conversion flow, optimizing your pricing, developing your product. Like we've got frameworks that have been taught by Dan and our coaches. So in a one-on-one setting, we'll build context with a client and understand what's the challenge here. We'll pick some key projects for the quarter, and then we'll pair them with playbooks that they review offline and with their team. So a coach is not going to sit there and teach one-on-one something that's already been taught before. So we build a lot of leverage. Most consultants, if you work one-on-one with a consultant, you're going to pay them to say the same thing that they've said to many of their clients before, and you don't get to meet their clients, other clients, right? So we take a spin on that model and say, instead of you paying $250 an hour to speak with a consultant and have them tell you the same thing, why don't we do that training once in a really solid model? On those coaching calls, you get to see the model taught, and then you get to see us coach other clients through it. So we gain a lot of leverage in getting impact to our clients without having to spend time one-on-one, which is a difficult model to scale.
Love the model. It's genius. How much do startups pay to have that support and that coaching?
So the traditional model is you give up equity. We go work with an accelerator, and you give up equity, or you work with an investor to get that level of support. We have 3 different programs. Our price point on an annual basis ranges from $12K all the way up to $75K, just depending on where you're at in revenue and what type of support you need.
How long does it last until I can see a change? Is it 6 months, 12 months?
It's always every company at scale that is performing really well has an operating system in place, right? They have a rhythm for annual planning, quarterly planning, accountability, and performance all the way through the organization. So we try to pair, when a company comes with us, everyone's looking for, hey, I want to get ROI positive as quickly as I can. We call that chocolate, right? It's like, what are the things that we can do to go find a quick pop of revenue early on? And then how do we pair that with broccoli? It's the stuff that you need, the foundational pieces that aren't as sexy or fun to build. They don't show ROI right away, but they help build the muscle for change long-term. If you think about the stronger the operating system for the organization, the more nimble and faster we can respond to when we identify the problem to deploying the fix. So some companies can come in, they can be, 150K in revenue, have lots of potential for revenue growth, but their ability to like change as an organization, to open up a new channel, to execute well, is really immature. So for that company, it probably takes us a little longer. We slow down, get the operating system installed, and then we can speed up. So honestly, it really depends on where the company is at, but we try to be cognizant of like pairing that quick ROI. Our goal is to get you ROI positive in 90 days or less. And then we back that up with a 30-day money back guarantee. So like no one sticks around in our program unless they're growing. The 30-day money back guarantee is there to make sure that our sales team's not good at selling and our coaching team's poor at executing. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, somehow. So it's custom pricing, right? That's what I'm getting.
No, there's just multiple programs and multiple ways to engage. So, it starts with a growth session with our sales team. So you can jump on, understand, they'll do it. First off, they'll just assess if we can help you. Like, we only serve founders. We don't serve VP of sales or et cetera. You got to be the founder. And you got to be at the right stage and right mindset to like leverage coaching. Like, this isn't consulting. It's not a done for you service. Like, we're going to coach you through the process. And so there's an assessment on the front end. And then part of that is you're figuring out which program and what involvement's right for you. So not custom. We have 3 programs. It's just a matter of figuring out which program's the right one for you.
Just love it. How do you find all your clients? Do you do cold outreach? Do you do remarketing? Like, what does the program look like to onboard all of these founders? I mean, you have 200 of them. So what's your system?
Yeah, we've been pretty heavy into content marketing and paid media. We do have an SDR team that only responds to warm leads. Right now we generate about 1,000 marketing qualified leads per month. Those are B2B SaaS founders that have more than 10K in revenue. They've got a phone number, and they're in North America. So our SDRs are just like cycling through these warm leads. We make about 500 to 750 calls a day and book growth sessions off of that. But it all comes off of like, we put out a tremendous amount of free content. You go follow Dan Martell, go follow SaaS Academy. There's a weekly YouTube video. There are tons of resources on our website. So I've had clients that sign up that say, look, I got as far as I could with all the free stuff. I've been following you guys for years. And now I finally got to, go start working with a coach and, get on the other side of the paywall, if you will. But all of it's through content marketing and paid media for distribution. And then we follow up with our SDR team to book those growth sessions for those leads.
Dan is such a beast, I was checking the website and I got the call to action, get clarity. And I was reminded that he started clarity.fm, which was a startup that I was using myself and found fascinating. My theory with you and how Dan picked you up is just that Dan's a superstar, right? So he has his brand and you already knew that he was a star, and that's how he attracted you. And that's like not super scalable, because I still have
I was a client. I was a client of SaaS Academy.
There you go. So should I follow a similar strategy to attract like my next highly performant entrepreneur?
I mean, I think that would be the first place that I look. I would look for someone like a high performing entrepreneur is going to fall in love with your mission. Like, they're going to love the idea of building your business and serving your market, executing on that vision more than the idea of someone else's or their own, right? Of starting something else on their own or working in another organization. So if you say, okay, where am I most likely to find those people? Your client base or former clients is a great place to look. So if you set up the right model and you just go to your, like, we call them purple customers, like your evangelists, the ones that love what you do, they had great success, they've sent you lots of referrals, and just say, hey, like, would you ever be interested in working together? Like, I get creative with it. I love what you've done. Sounds like you love what we do. If you're open to the chat, let me know. And that's how it started. Like, Dan and I talked for 2 years after I exited Silvertrack, and just kept the conversation going. Like, at a certain level, becoming a CEO is about, or being a high performing CEO is about people, vision, and cash. And so, like, for people, like, Dan's constantly building this ecosystem of people who he can plug in. He recognizes that most of his challenges come down to who, not how. And so, these, on a quarterly basis, Dan would call me, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? Like, and eventually the stars aligned to work together.
So funny because Clarity to this day has the same landing page as they had like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's a super fast website, it's like the fastest thing I've seen. Plus the concept is really simple. In the end, it's a messaging app, and then you book something with someone, there's Stripe connected to that, and there you go, voila. That's what I like about Dan. He keeps it simple and seems like he's a sales genius. Am I describing Dan the right way here?
Yeah, he's definitely, he's got a knack for finding opportunities. I think Clarity was unique in that it was a marketplace. I think it was the first and the last one that he built and will ever build, because there's just some challenges associated with building a marketplace. But it's right. I mean, that is, I'll tell you what, like, Dan's superpower is his network, his connections. Like so Clarity was solving a need that he had. He's like, look, I know that like key to my growth, whatever challenge, again, it's who, not how. Like if I've got a problem, it's who do I know that knows how to solve this problem? So he built a tool that helped him get connected with some incredible people. And still to this day, like our biggest jumps in growth have come on the back of booking like 1-day calls with, I think in my second week at SaaS Academy, we had a full day consulting session with Alex Hermosi, who had been a former client of SaaS Academy with his product. And Dan had asked him just to kind of do an audit. So we sent him a bunch of information ahead of time, and he came in and did like a 1-day breakdown of like, here's how I'd scale SaaS Academy. So there have been many interactions like that where Dan's leveraging his network and, coming in and just helping us see, hey, what's working in the market now? And you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Someone else has solved this problem. It's just a matter of finding that person.
Right. And jump to my eyes, ClickFunnels on the website. I think he's connected with Russell as well. So yeah, network is definitely a good lesson here. I want to know, from working with so many SaaS on your side, what niches are you seeing that are burning hot right now?
I mean, it is remarkable how quickly AI is moving forward. Like we're seeing founders completely pivot their product to be exclusively focused on leveraging AI or embedding AI into their existing products. Like I would say that universally that is the trend. But we've got industry is not, I can't tell you, man, we've had such a wide range. Every single industry is a tech industry now. Like we're talking about everything from agriculture to supply chain management to real estate investing to MarTech. Like there's a couple pockets here and there. Like there's quite a few in marketing and sales tech, and there's quite a few in real estate, but like there's not every single industry has got, SaaS founders building and optimizing their workflows. And then of course, leaning into AI.
Yeah. Every company, is like becoming a technological company, but also every company is becoming a media company nowadays. Like if you don't have a media backend and a podcast or blog, for example, could we say that all companies are going to become banks? Also, eventually they're going to financialize, quote unquote, in the sense that they will be able to loan money. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I would see that being exclusive to a couple of companies that keep a lot of cash on their books. I don't, at least not at this stage of companies. I don't, we work with what most would consider still early stage tech. I don't see, at least in our pocket, I don't see that popping up as much as you see, companies like Fortune 500s leaning into that model.
I think most companies are going to fintechitize. For example, this client, they pay me, I charge, like 1.5K a month. Okay, pay me 1.2K, but I'm going to charge you 5 to 10% interest on that. And with Stripe, I think that's what Stripe is allowing each company to do, like provide them an array of choice and of financial product and leveraging that. But that was a pretty wild question. Last question for you, John. What are your goals this year? Like, what do you want to accomplish as the CRO of SaaS Academy?
Personally, within the context of business?
Both. Let's go with both.
Yeah, personally, I put a lot of time into, I'm putting a lot of time and plan to put a lot of time in just to building the personal brand. It was funny. I took we do 2-day events for our clients, and I was with Dan and our COO in Nashville, Tennessee in February. And we're on an elevator ride down, finishing up a executive planning session, and Dan looks over to me. He's like, man, I can make your world a whole lot bigger if you just shoot some videos. Like, we know who you are in SaaS Academy, but the world needs to know who you are and what you have to offer. So pick up your phone and shoot some videos. And he said it in like Dan Martell fashion that was inspiring, motivating. And so I started that in February. Just started picking up the phone, shooting Instagram reels and saying, hey, the first 1,000 hours are going to be tough. Let's build the muscle. And right now I just, had 3 interviews today with a content marketer to run the personal brand. And so I expect to share a lot more on the entrepreneurial journey and teach our founders how to build their number 2. I think, so many of our founders would really benefit from understanding the model of how to enroll really high performing entrepreneurial thinkers into their vision, versus building them and seeing them leave to go start their own companies or work elsewhere. So that's what a lot of my last year looks like. And then my wife is due for our baby number 3 in a couple of weeks. So you're growing the family and building the personal brand on top of continuing to build SaaS Academy is what the next 4 or 5 months look like for me.
Love what you guys are building, man. Very inspiring. You're aboard a rocket ship. And yeah, I really hope we can keep touch there. Where can people find out more about you, John?
Best spot is on Instagram or Facebook. Johnny Page 13 is the handle on Instagram. From there, you can find the rest of it. Still emerging, but that's where to find me.
And I am Charles Cormier, the host of CRO Wisdom Podcast. If you want to start